Welcome to the daily grind. I got myself, I'm one half of the team. Luke's there with me. I think you lovingly called us a terrible twosome yesterday. Is that what that was?
The gruesome
The
twosome.
gru the gruesome twosome. I like the terrible twosome as well because
Terrible
let's
twosome
be
is good. That's good too.
let's be the show isn't that good. I just own the company, so like I can do whatever I want. Then no one can tell me no. That's the problem. No one can tell me no.
Is your dog right next to you, or where'd it go? Did you have a
Yeah, it's
puppy right next?
there's one back there, one puppy's here, one puppy's there. She's looking out the window. Lots of things
She
happening
was
in the office
so
today.
cute.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a show with the dogs one day.
That'd be
Just
just
all of
take
our
notes.
dogs. Yeah, great show for you guys today. First off, before we get started, tomorrow's a trade deadline, and as you guys know, you may not know. If you don't know, we'll be hosting an NBA trade deadline special all day long.
All
10
diggity
a.m.
day.
to 4 p.m. We'll be live literally all day. We got rotating guests throughout the day. We got lots of great guests. We got Matt Moore. We got Mark Giannotto. Got Jeffrey Wright. Of course, you and I will be there. Daniel Greer will be there. Keith Fast Break Breakfast, our friend over there. Obviously, Anthony Sane from our BCM as well. So lots of great guests on this show tomorrow. We will not have a show because this will take place during our show. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at some points in the other day. So we'll be reacting live to any trades that come in. Hopefully there's some Grizzlies ones. If not, we'll be talking all NBA trades as they come through. If it's a boring deadline, I guess we'll like rank stuff. I don't know. We'll find something to talk about because we'll be here all day long. I will be hosting the early part of the show with Luke, doing some hosting duties as well, then some background stuff with us, and then Daniel Gurr will be hopping on, do some hosting, and then I'll be back in the afternoon. So it will be an all-day trade special-a-thon. I don't really know what we're calling it.
No, that's great. Special-a-thon.
Special-a-thon. All right. We'll go with that. NBA trade special-a-thon tomorrow. It will be really fun. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be a little like really pretty. It's gonna be informal. We'll be taking everybody's questions and comments. So if you have questions that you want answered by some of our guests, you can hop on and ask those questions. We'll hopefully get those answered for you as well. But the Grizzlies played basketball last night, if you can call it that.
Yeah, they did.
At the Knicks. If you watch the game, you were rewarded in the fourth quarter. If you watched the whole game. Did you watch the whole game?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
I actually did watch the whole game. I watched the first half and uniquely paid attention. And then the second half, I put it on a TV while I was playing Fortnite and watched the second half. And I was playing and I had it on a different TV. In my movie room, we have a projector. You can do 4 screens. So I had it in one of like a little screen and Fortnite in another. And I was watching it and I did pause the game, or not pause Fortnite, but I did stop and return to the lobby once I realized what was happening in the fourth quarter. I started to watch it a little more intensely. But if you watch the whole game, you got rewarded with kind of a run, I guess.
Yeah, in the fourth, it's like, I got the update on my phone where I didn't watch the whole game, but I got the update on my phone that was like Grizzlies trail. We were trailing with like 6 left with, I don't know, 3 to go or something. Was the update I got on my phone, and I was like, wait, we were down by almost 40 at the half. What the hell happened?
It was interesting. Jalen Brunson unfortunately went down with an ankle. It was a really bad play. To be clear, they called a foul. There wasn't even a foul. He just slipped. That's unfortunate. But what stuck out to you, the parts that you did watch, what stuck out to you on this game? Obviously, again, we talked about this yesterday. Wins and losses for us are not really a thing that we're looking at anymore. If you want to follow that, great. By all means, do that. But you're going to live an unhappy life doing that with the Grizzlies right now. What stood out to you, if anything, on this team, on this game last night?
Well, one thing, the 3 ball was just falling for a lot of people. And it doesn't always fall for these guys, but I mean, it was falling for Santi, it was falling for Vince, it was falling for Gilly, it was falling for Luke, it was falling for Gigi, it was falling for Roddy. Like, it was falling for all those guys last night. And that's not normally the case. Normally, like, half those dudes are off. But it's pretty amazing that we shot like 56, almost 57% from 3, 17% more than they did, and then lost. Like, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, for a while there, I mean, like you mentioned, a lot of the three balls that were not falling for some people normally were definitely falling. I always question, like, what stood out to me is Derrick Rose getting hurt again. I mean, that has to be.
Again,
I mean,
dude.
looking back on the summer, such an awful signing by the Grizzlies. I mean, really a really big miss. I think there are so many, not so many, but there are a lot of other directions they could have gone with that roster spot. Quite frankly, they could have opened it up and just held it open. They could have. I think there are a lot of players that would have fit into that role besides Derrick Rose. And his injury history just. I mean, I think he's played. I don't know how many games he's actually played. Let me look and see. But he's hurt again. He'll likely
Again.
be out several weeks at this point. Honestly, I forget he's on the roster sometimes just because he's hurt so much. I just happen to, but before that, before he went out, does Taylor Jenkins not know he does not have to play 10 guys? It's not a requirement by the league. He doesn't have to. By any stretch
I
of
don't.
imagination.
I don't know what. Last night
Do you
was
care about
another
that? Do
one.
you care about that? Like, do you care that he? Am I being weird? Do you care about that? Does it matter?
No. I mean, it matters to the degree because, like, I mean, do you need to last night necessarily? Do you play John Conchar almost 30 minutes? Like, I don't. I just that was one where it's like, come on, like, if did you need to stick with 10 guys when one of them wasn't really giving you anything, and like, how did he played? I can't say his name. Tosan played a lot last night too, but he didn't really give us much. Like, I get you want all these guys to develop and you want all these guys to play, but like, you don't have to. Why don't you stick with the guys whose shots are fine and play the ones that can play a lot? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I guess that begs the question: is like, what's your goal?
Yeah, what's the
Right?
goal? Well, I don't know what
Are
TJ's goal
are
is.
you trying to win the game, or are you just trying to
Yeah,
develop, see what you guys got? Because
true.
it looks like they want to win games, but it also looks like he wants to see what guys are on the
Yeah.
10 days, which is fine with me. I don't know. I think that's probably just being petty, and it probably really doesn't matter. The more I think about it. Anything else? I mean, for me, GG Jackson stood out. He still
Yeah.
looks very good offensively sometimes.
Yep.
Still, things we talk about defensively, he gets really lost sometimes on team defense. He's a very good one-on-one defender, but again, we've had this discussion many times. That's not what makes you a good defender in the NBA.
No.
What makes you a good defender in the NBA is team defense and rotations. Being able to, if you notice how Vince Williams plays, what makes him so good is he's smart enough to understand when the passes are where the basketball is going. So he's that one. He could play a little cheat off one pass away and still get back.
Yes.
GG Jackson, I think, still really struggles with that. But offensively, he looked great.
He's still, man. The shot's good,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not afraid to take it. Thank God he's still shoot. Like this season is like these games are good for him.
Yes.
Play how many minutes did he play? Why did he only play 20 minutes? That's a question I'd like answered.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could why he played. I mean, I guess if in the game you think you're in it, and maybe you that's why Vince Williams ends up at 34. I don't really sure. Santi Aldama only 22. I was kind of weird. I thought he was good in the minutes he was in. There was a lot of extra minutes out there to go around than the normal minutes. So Trey Jemison
Look good.
ends up with 12 points, 7 boards.
Not bad.
I mean, I know in our Discord chat, shout out to be Bluff City Media Insider to give a part of our Discord chat. A lot of people were shitting on Trey Jemison in the first half that he had like no rebounds and a couple points. A lot of people. And then he comes out and finishes with 7 boards, 12 points. I mean, I thought it was perfectly reasonable, I guess.
Yeah, man. Like, it's fine. Like 12 in 2 blocks to go with it too. Like,
I don't think nothing stood out to me from his game that I was like, oh, that makes sense. I could see that translating to the NBA as a real skill. But he didn't go out there, and he was not like Zaire, where you're like, dude, you've got to get him out of the end game because he is so awful on defense that it doesn't matter what he provides on offense. He's so bad. It was neither of those things for me.
No.
Trey Jemison was exactly average. Might even say forgettable. I mean, he was fine in the minutes he was fine in. I think he's got a path to a two-way contract with this team and then seeing what you got in the future. That's what I think. Now, I mean, granted, they can just keep signing the 10 days right now and it won't matter.
Yeah.
But I think that is his probable path.
Who do you think out of all these two-way guys, do you see any of them getting an actual contract at the end of the season?
The ones we have right now, Hurt Matthew Hurt didn't even play. Tosan and Trey Jemison, no. I don't see any of those guys showing me anything that would warrant an actual NBA contract before the season's over. No, not at all.
Same. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that the problem is not the problem, but the problem for Trey Jemison and not a problem for the Grizzlies is that the centers are easy to find, not relatively speaking, right? They are not 3-and-D players, which everybody wants and are hard to find. Centers who can rebound well in the NBA are relatively easy to find and sometimes on cheap contracts. Look at Xavier Tillman. He's making less than $2 million a year, and he's a serviceable big for you. And so I think that's probably wherein lies the problem for people like Trey Jemison, is that he is in a position where there is not an abundance, but there is a lot of backup bigs or third or fourth bigs on a roster who can provide you what he can provide you, and maybe even a little bit better because they've been in the NBA for so long, if that makes sense.
That are gettable too.
That are gettable. Yeah. And so again, I think Trey Jemison is more of a two-way path guy. Now, what he can do in the future is different, but I think for now, there's nothing I've seen on the court where I was like, yeah, that I can see that happening. But
which, I mean, if you give GG a roster spot, then there's a two-way contract spot open. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be the path I would probably take if I were the Grizzlies, and if they gave GG a contract before everything. Now, I'm of the mind I don't even know if they'll do that, to be honest with you. Now, I could see it happening, right? You want to lock that up 4 years, more like of a 20th pick kind of money, somewhere around what Vince Williams is getting. I could see that. And if that happens, then I could see them very much sliding Trey Jemison in that 2-way contract and say, hey, let's keep him around for, I think he's shown enough to keep him around for a little bit, to be in the organization.
Yes. I mean, more so than these other, than Tosan and Matt Hurt. I mean, the fact that Matt Hurt got another DNP, keep him in the hustle. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, look, Matt Hurt's a great storyline, but if he's not getting minutes above Tosan and some other guys, I don't foresee him being around even on 10 days or too long. Someone just left a comment and asked us, we don't think G's going to get a full contract. I could see it happening. I'm probably 50-50 on it right now about him actually getting a full contract. Here's the thing about GG Jackson that we've said on this show numerous times, and we'll continue to tell you guys, that there's no need for the Grizzlies to do anything with GG Jackson. They control his rights before, going into next year. He's a restricted free agent. So there's no rush. There's no reason, no rush, right? There's nothing you got to do because you control his rights even on a 2-way going into next year as well. And so but can I see them doing it to go and get it done and get him on a good value contract for 4 years? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Because again, they're at a point, a fork in the road. This is where they have to make some decisions on guys who make a lot of money. They need, going forward, they're going to have guys that take up 80% of their salary cap and 3 or 4 guys. And so they need guys on good deals that can be productive. And I think GG Jackson is that. And shout out Wayne Hunt, who asked a question. He's also said he's here listening from Sydney, watching from Sydney. So shout out. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Good morning over there. Yeah. So, sorry, I saw that. I got excited. I lost my train of thought. But with GG, yes. I mean, I think that if they did it right away, it would make sense because they need guys on favorable contracts going forward the next 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. At least. Because Des won't be on a full max next year. The year after that,
Jaren's coming up.
Jaren will be coming up with a full max. Ja will always be on a max this point going forward.
Yep.
Never not be on a max if he's the player he is. So if you want to keep those 3 guys, you got to figure out a way to get cheap. And you've done that with Vince Williams.
Bump up against the second apron.
I mean, even as a first apron, he's a taxpayer. I mean, they got some decisions to make. So
Yeah.
That leads us into our next segment. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to talk about the cap situation going to the deadline. There's probably more minutia talk that we want to discuss. And then obviously the last segment, who might be on their last night with the Grizzlies? Who's saying goodbye tomorrow? That's what we're talking about coming up next.
Not just the level of individual talent that he plays with, but it's also the level of his mind. We haven't gotten cross-court open shot this year. We haven't seen that pass a lot. Number one, you got to respect him going to the basket. There's a roller. I got to watch the roller. He has the mind to be able to say, I see all of that, but now I see this guy over here. I'm going to get him this open shot. How shifty he is to always be going forward. It's usually side to side.
Yeah.
His dribble moves are side to side, but going forward.
Right.
Which is very hard to defend. I just want to get you, as many times can I get you to do this? But for him, it's not here. It is here, which is are his moves to get down the floor. It's awkward for a defender to try to catch a cadence. You dribble. So now what I do is now when you go put that ball down, I'm going for it. But with him, it's hard for my cadence. But what's my cadence for you? I don't know what it is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Who do you need to step it up? Outside of David Jones, I think David Jones is David Jones.
I don't think you need him to step it up because he's been performing.
Yeah, he's David Jones. Outside of him, he's fine.
I think Quinterly needs to play better.
In what way? He's facilitating the ball well. I mean, what do you like? I don't.
2 at 12 from the field's not cutting it.
It's not great. It's not great.
And I don't need a runner 3 from the top of the key with 3.5 seconds left.
Is Virginia the game where Jordan Brown is going to cook? Those dudes aren't looking to run the ball.
Cook what? Dude, I thought he was going to have a freaking night. He came out with that fresh cut, lined up, and then literally within the first 15 seconds missed a wide open layup, and then picked up 2 fouls right away.
I feel real lied to because I thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy.
Didn't think it did anything for you.
Well, I think
we all thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy. And we are getting that in David Jones.
I'm not even getting 20 or 10 minutes out of the guy.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind right here on Bluff City Media. Join us every day, 1 o'clock. Do your lunch or have your lunch. Watch this show. Spend it with us. I know there's no better time you'd rather have. Let's talk about the NBA salary cap and the Grizzlies going into next year's. I saw you got a thumbs up. How did you?
I don't know how that happens, man. I do a lot. I talk with my hands a lot, and then it happens a lot, and I never know how it does it.
Is it? I want a thumbs up,
dude. I don't know how it happens. It happens. It happens a lot.
Anyway, maybe I'll get one day.
If the fairy visits you, man, you'll be lucky.
Let's talk about the salary cap going into the deadline. The Grizzlies obviously moved Adams last week. This was a very precisely or accurately aligned with where salary cap. Now, they are sitting at $173 million next year. That's without. That is $2 million over the salary cap, the luxury tax. That's in the first there. That would put them in the first apron. That is without Luke Kennard, though. His opt-in at 14.7.
Okay. And then
quick math on that from 173 to basically 15 million gets us at what? 183, 188. And the second apron is at 191. So that's where they're currently sitting. So if you missed our show last week, the reason they did the Adams trade was to take the $9 million of Oladipo's contract into this year. They're coming off the books next year. So before they did that, they were like 193 million, which was 2 million over the second apron. Over. And there are a lot of things you are not allowed to do when you're in the second apron. It restricts the way you can sign players, how you can trade players, lots of restrictions. And it also just comes with a big tax bill.
You can't sign people with the MLE, right? You can't use any of the exceptions.
I don't know which ones you can't use and which ones you can't. I'd have to look it up to get real granular on it. I don't think that's necessary. Just know that they're not going to go into the second apron.
Yeah,
That's not
there's
something
no
that's going to happen.
reason.
They said that publicly before. They've said that. That's not a secret. And so that's not like us talking to the team. That's just they've said it publicly. And so that's something they're not going to do. This deal they did before brings them just below that second apron, but still in the first apron, and it still comes with a tax bill. What are your thoughts on them possibly even trying to get out of this luxury tax altogether?
I mean, what would they have to move to get under it? Is it Kennard? Is that who's gone?
They'd have to lose Kennard, and they'd have to make another deal too. Even with Kennard, they're $2 million over the cat. They're in the luxury tax by $2 million. I mean, that's pretty like fringe stuff they could probably work around.
That's cuttable. I mean, you could cut somebody if you wanted to do that. I mean, I don't know why you. I mean, that's like you said, that's easy. That's easy money to get around.
Here's the problem. I don't see any way where they get in. They don't see any path for them to get under the luxury tax and keep one of Ja, Dez, and Jared.
No, you're right.
Next year, Ja Morant makes $36 million. Desmond makes $34 million. Jared makes $25 million, who is underpaid, by the way. Marcus Smart is going to be at $20 million, and Brandon Clark's going to make $12.5 million. That's the only guys that make double-digit figures. They'll have Conchar, Zaire. Again, these are if no moves happen. They'll have Zaire, Conchar, Santi, Derrick Rose, Laravia, David Roddy, Vince Williams Jr. all sub $6 million below, which is it's great deals for half your roster.
For Santi and Vince, it's pretty darn good too, considering the minutes and the production that you get out of those guys.
So I just say all that. I just don't know. I don't know how they're going to operate under the luxury tax without trading one of those three guys. And I don't see them trading one of those three guys. To be fair, no. I just don't see them giving up on one of those guys. And they really even haven't seen that core together, like fully healthy in a full season with people around them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the point in like, you're not going to be able to get under the tax altogether without trading one of those guys. You're not going to trade one of those guys. So to me, I don't know why you don't just operate within that window. Just know you're going to operate within that window and make moves as such, like trade Kennard, trade other guys. Cause you could probably do a 2-for-1, a 3-for-1 to still stay under that second apron. Like that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And Oladipo's contract too. You got that. It's $10 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to come off the books. The Grizzlies, if they can find a roster that works for the next 3 years after this, next 3 years, they will have Jaren and Ja and
Dez
will be under a contract that they can, the number's not going to change, right? Dez will be under contract till 27, 28, right where Ja as well. But the next 3 years, the next 2 years after this year, the next 2 years, if they can find a roster that works with those guys making the money they make, they'll have 2 legitimate shots at titles, I think, for 2 years. And now after that, you figure out what you're going to figure out, right? Like Jaren's going to come up again and his money's going to be more. Maybe that's the point where you've got to break it up. But I think
got 2 years.
That's why I think this trade deadline and this offseason, acquiring some pieces that make sense for you, not development guys, not drafting guys, acquiring pieces and guys on favorable contracts that fit into your system, that finish those last little bits around the edges that you need in terms of, a center that can rebound and some just playmaking off the bench. Again, maybe that's Luke Kennard, but the next 2 years are when the Grizzlies should see the next 2, hopefully, title runs, actual contending teams. And that's, I think, why the next 2 years are so important. I think that's why the trade deadline is so important, as well as the offseason, because they've got to find pieces that work. They cannot develop guys. They're done with that. They can't be doing that anymore.
Time is done.
After these 2 years, you're looking at a situation where you realistically have to move off of one of Ja, Jaren, or Dez. And I know who it's going to be, and everyone's not going to like it. It's going to be Jaren, and everyone's going to hate that. Yeah. I'm just telling you what it's going to be. I don't know how they go forward. Jaren's going to make it like $34 million a year at that point, maybe 36, almost into 37. And 3 guys making almost $100 million a year is really, really tough to do in the NBA. and have like I don't know. What are your thoughts on the next 2 years?
Time's ticking when you put it like that, man. It's like, and you can't sit pat. You can't. You have to make moves. You have to. Yeah, I don't think you can sit. I'm going to be extremely disappointed if nothing happens tomorrow. I won't be disappointed if like we don't see a big trade, but I do think we have to see some roster cleanup trades. That's Vic Laravias and the John Contras of the world. Even in, hopefully you can get to Zaire out. Like these guys have to move on. You know what you have in the guys. They're not good. You have to try to package all these things together. And to be clear, if you get assets, that's great, but you got to flip the assets to something else. Like, I need to see them flipping these 3 seconds they just got for Steven Adams into something realistic, because you can't even physically pick 3 people, right? No,
yes. You can't even pick 3 people. You don't have the roster spots. It's not going to happen. Not going to use them. That's what I need to see from this trade deadline for the Grizzlies. And I think call it, hey, at the success, deal with the rest in the summer. You can make another trade in the summer to go get who you think, but at least clean up the stuff, get some assets. If you can't get anything else, get some assets to go and get them in the future in the summer. That's where I'm at on the trade deadline.
I agree with you. Apparently, I got the thumbs up again. I don't know how it happened, but everything you just said, I want people need to go. I'm not saying anybody needs to come on before the end of the year, but people need to go just to show that they're serious about the next 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, that the next 2 years are when they're pivotal, because these are the 2 years they'll have. Because if they can figure out the top end of the roster and they figure out the back and they put some guys around them, this will be the, you want to see the roster you have that's not going to change for 2 years, and this is going to be it, right? And then you can deal with it after 2 years from now. You can figure it out there because Marcus Smart's also here. Marcus Smart's also here for the next 2 years, right? Yep. He kind of lines up with that. So even that deal you saw them make with Marcus Smart, his deal also, the money wise, lines up with Jaren, Ja, Marcus, Dez, all here for the next 2 years. Jaren and Marcus are up the same. You unrestricted free agent the same year, 2 years from now. Deal with it then. And figure it out. You're probably let Marcus Smart walk, but deal with Jaren then. So let's take another quick break. We're going to come back. We'll do our final segment. We'll talk about whose last night it's going to be here in Memphis.
I'm just big on being able to vocalize what someone's role is. I always thought my best coaches were the people that let me know exactly what you expect from me. Now, I might not like it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you come to me man to man to say, this is how we think we're gonna play you, bang, 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 and hopefully everybody understands. I'm not saying that this has not been done with this team. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying from my experience, we all have egos when we get to this game. Right. All of us, to the last person on the bench, you got an ego, but all of us can't be the man. Yeah, you got to be able to say, okay, he's the man, but what do I do and what can I do to help us be good? And if it's vocalized to you, then you know exactly what. And if I'm out there doing it and now I'm not getting the result from you, now we got to sit down and have another conversation. Mm-hmm. But as long as it is told to you, this is what we expect from you, this is how we want you to play, then I feel like, again, keeping his logo. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. All right, Christian.
Yes.
You are Penny Hardaway.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Today, you're going to play act. Okay? Gabe, because you're a Jordan Brown apologist, you're going to be Jordan Brown.
I'm a Jordan Brown apologist. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Y'all are sitting across the room from each other.
I said, don't tweet him hate. And he's like, you're an apologist. Like, good God. But either way, continue. We're in a room together.
Why did things break down?
Jordan, we brought you in this year to be the centerpiece of our offense. You came in out of shape. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. We play fast. Told you this when we were recruiting you. We play fast. One of the fastest paces in the country. You have to be able to get up and down the floor. You have failed at that.
Oh, well, I'm leaving. So it's fine. Cool.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the show, Daily Grind, right here on Bluff City Media. If you're not already subscribed to the Bluff City Media YouTube page, make sure you go and do that. I promise you it's worth it. We have shows for everybody out there. If you're interested in anything in Memphis sports or just general sports as well, we got shows for you guys. So check it out. Go subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Means a lot to us. Last night with the Grizzlies, Luke, who is it going to be? Who's no longer here tomorrow? This time, well, not this time, but a few hours from now, tomorrow.
Yes.
Who's that here?
Jake.
Wow. Really?
I think it's
Jake,
gonna
that's
be-
your
I'm gonna say someone, and it's been a good run, but I think he's gonna be somewhere else. I think we'll get a couple picks for him.
I think it's going to definitely be Xavier Tillman.
Yeah.
And I think it's also going to be John Conchar.
I think both of them are gone.
I think that, and here in an ideal world, I would lose Xavier, John, Zaire, and Jake LaRavia, saving us a collective $15 million. But that's not going to happen. A man can dream, right? A man
You
can
dream. Yeah.
But realistically, I think it's Xavier Tillman and John Conchar. That's probably the most. I just don't know if they can get actual. I just don't know what they're going to be able to get for Jake and Zaire.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know what the market is. I'm not sure. I just don't know enough.
And Zaire, Jake's got 2 more years. He's got a year after this until they can decline that option. And same with Zaire. They both have another. Wayne Hunt asked if Tillman in a sign and trade. No, they wouldn't do it in a sign and trade. They can only do those in the summer. It would happen. It would just likely scenario. If they're trading Tillman, they're going to want to just get a second rounder for him and, move him off the books. Again, I wouldn't suspect he goes in a bigger deal. If you're trying to get someone, maybe you put him in that deal. My assumption though, is that he goes to a contending team for a second rounder. Because his contract's so little, they can almost any team can absorb him into their salary cap, but take him into it in a way. Almost every team has a mechanism to take that small contract in. That would be my assumption on Tillman, is that he would get traded for a second rounder, and we would get off that contract and get it, second rounder for our troubles, because he's not coming back in the summer anyway. So
That's a second rounder for our troubles.
I mean, that's the reality. He's
Yeah.
not coming back. He's not coming back. You always want to try to trade guys who you're not coming back and have expiring deals to get something. You don't want him to walk away for nothing. He's I don't like talking about players like saying that they're assets, because I think that's a really dehumanizing way of saying it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that is the reality. That's how the NBA views them, right? A lot of times, and it's unfortunate, but that is how they view them. Because ideally you don't want your quote unquote asset to just leave. You want to try to get something.
Yeah.
Silver lining, Wayne says silver lining this year, we got to see the tail end of our roster. That he's not good. That is, he's saying that the silver lining is we get to see that our roster is not good enough to compete for a championship. Yes.
Yeah. Well said.
Yes, they are not good.
Not good.
Yeah, not good. We'll do some silver linings of the year and on a different show. But
Yeah.
that's who I think is going to be Conchar and Xavier Tillman. You have any suspicions on Luke Kennard?
I hope he's here. But I don't know.
I think he's here unless people you get the right deal. And I think that's true for a lot of people, obviously. But I think Luke, especially, I think they like Luke. I think they cleared money to keep Luke next year.
Yes.
I think that unless they get a deal, like we did some of the deals we've talked about, like Wendell Carter Jr., who's now reportedly not getting any trade traction at all now. Unless you get a deal like a Wendell Carter Jr. or Killian Hayes or something, or not even a Killian Hayes, but someone you think is valuable coming back. I think that's the only way you see Luke leaving.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to salary dump Luke.
No, he's too good.
Before we get out of here, Brandon just asked why do we think Scottie Pippen Jr. has not played the last 2 games while they're giving the young guys play? I don't know. I don't think he's hurt, and that's a good question. I actually had the thought that myself last night, why he was not on the active roster. My assumption, if I had to guess, just looking at it and thinking about it, that Jacob Gillard has 3 games left on his amount of games he can have as an active NBA player. And so if it were me and I was just guessing, I don't know. This is just me guessing. I would think that they're trying to use those up with Jacob Gillard, and then they'll once he's done
Have Scottie Pippen Jr.
Yeah, that would be my assumption because I think he's got 2 games now that would be he's eligible to be active for, and so yeah.
So he's done. He's done by this weekend, right? Is that what that means?
I'm just saying that X just got traded.
What?
Kenny just texted me and said that X just got traded to the Celtics. Let us get our bearings. I don't think we're gonna stop the show though. This will be our third segment, but we could just probably keep going and talk about this for a minute.
Savior, Tillman.
If somebody has a trade, send it in the comments so we'll know what it is because we don't have that kind of stuff up right now.
I'm not seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody has the trade in the comments, shoot it to us so we'll know what it is. Let's see. It's 2027 second rounder, Atlanta to the Grizzlies. Yeah. So it's exactly what we just said. It's a second rounder for Xavier Tillman.
Oh, two second round picks.
No, yeah, 2 second round picks. A 2027 second via Atlanta and a 2030 second via Dallas to the Grizzlies. That's actually a good deal for Tillman.
Very good
value. That's good value for Tillman. We were just talking about for one throwing away 1 second for our troubles, and here you got Xavier Tillman being traded for 2 second rounders. So, shout out to you guys for keeping us. Again, Kenny texted me.
Hell yeah.
As Reed in our comments said the same thing, and I was kind of like confused.
It's like what?
Yeah. So, not much to talk about there. I'd say we would stay on and talk about it more, but not much to talk about, guys.
That's exactly what we said it was going to be.
we just said it was going to happen 10 minutes ago. That's what he was going to be doing, and it happened. So
you got it right. You got it right.
I kind of got it right. You know, I think we all kind of got it right. I mean, yeah. I think 2 seconds is a good value for him, even though they're 2027 and 2030. Those are like basically that's equivalent to 2024 second. Those are so far away.
Yeah.
Those are so far away that they don't even matter. Like,
nope.
They are like, so out there. That's essentially equivalent to like a 2024 second, 2024 second. If you're talking about just assets and how the NBA works. So I'm sure we'll have more on that tomorrow in our trade special. Again, before we get out of here, don't forget tomorrow, NBA trade special, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We'll be on all day live. So we'll be talking about any trades that come up, not only for the Grizzlies, but all the NBA. We'll talk about every trade as they happen and just kind of recap different trades with lots of different guests throughout the day. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Tune in throughout the day at some points. I know not everybody's going to watch the whole show, but tune in at some points, and I promise you'll probably see a good guest that you like, and you'll probably have some questions that are answered. So until then, we will see you guys tomorrow. We'll both be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the Daily Grind show won't happen again until Friday. Yep. Yeah. Friday. I'm looking at Luke for confirmation.
Yeah, Friday. Friday.
Okay, come on.
Friday.
Just to make sure.
I'll be here Friday.
I'll be here Friday too. Until then, we will see you guys then.